but I'm the only guinea in the room.
He's from Jersey. It's kind of baked in a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. You can mock me if you want to. I'm used to it.
Can I dance if I'd like to?
And you can leave your friends behind because if
If
they
they
don't
don't
dance,
And they ain't no
they ain't no
friend
friend of mine.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this morning. This is Sunday, April 27th, day 3 of the NRA annual meeting and convention. Today is the final day. We have a 2-hour block this morning that we're going to bring to you, and we have absolutely no idea who's going to show up because Sunday is a late morning. So, good morning. So while the rest of the media folks are showing up late as usual, you know, we were only 3 minutes late to get to the broadcast. I see a buddy of mine walking over that I'd like if he would stop in and say hello. You want to sit in? We're live now. You want to jump in? Yeah. When you guys want to? All right. This is a special treat for everybody. Rich is going to jump up out of the seat because we don't have quite enough room for a man who has got a larger than life personality.
It's weird.
No, I
Walking
won't.
around.
I won't.
I don't love you or anything. Not like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, our good friend Tony Simon, the world's largest gun bunny. Man. Yeah, well, did you just run a marathon or something?
No, I just walked my chunky butt from the parking deck. Luckily, yesterday, they told me the secret code into getting in the back door here. So I was able to slide in.
Oh, well, lucky for you. Lucky for you. Yeah, they have 3 main entrance gates to this facility, but they only have one open on the very far end of the place. So if we're on this end, we come into the building on this side. We have to walk all the way to the other side just to come back to the booths.
Yeah, so, you're nice to people. And when you're the largest pound-for-pound gun bunny in America, people recognize. So yesterday when I was leaving, one of the exit guards was like, yeah, you can leave right here and get immediately to the parking deck.
Must have been nice.
Yeah, well, what time are you planning on leaving today? Because I might follow you.
It's at the end of the day. I've been busy. This is a pretty unique opportunity for us, having our own booths and being able to do the show from the floor. So they gave me 3 hours, 9 to 12. And then they told me, well, you're the only one in the booth, so you can have it all day. So the first day I interviewed 8 people.
Nice.
And I think I interviewed almost as many the second day. So today I want to see the show, but I have people coming by till after 1 o'clock.
Today we're doing a high. Well, we did. It was my mistake on Friday. We went from 12 to like 4:30. Well, we tried to go on at 12, but I had all kinds of technical difficulties, and we stayed till like 4:30. But it turns out we weren't supposed to start until 3. So for the first 2 hours of the day, I'm over here having a heart attack, sweating like a whore in church. I'm screaming at everything. I'm ready to throw my shit out to the aisle and go, Richard, how many times did I say, that's it, I'm done, I'm going home?
Nice.
It's like, I'm leaving.
Understand, because I had all new hardware. I don't use all this equipment to do my show. And Amanda loaned it to me so I could do the show and save the shows. And I had to all learn it on YouTube the night before and come in and try to set it up for my first appointment. And High Point showed up at 9 o'clock and debuted their High Point 15 on my podcast, which is really
cool. Nice.
Yeah, I was like, that's awesome.
And Josh brought that over for you?
Oh, no. Dave brought it over.
Oh, okay.
Dave brought it over, and we did an hour and a half on, the High Point, them coming up with it, what's its purpose, that whole thing. So it was pretty cool. A little pinch me moment, right? As a gun guy.
Yeah, it's nice when somebody brings you something new and you get to be the person to debut it. It says a lot about you and how they feel. Now we've been fortunate to have a couple of debuts as well, and it's always a nice feeling. But how cool of a feeling was it, to get that call from Amanda and she says, "Hey, listen, we're doing the two-way voices of America. We want you to come and bring a show in for us."
It felt like to have them just call me. It was like, me? But the other part was it felt good because we can see the changes being made in the NRA by having actual advocates on the board. We actually watching a change happen in what, a year?
Yeah, it's like we got some of our own, in the back door over there and trying to do the right thing and having that new blood come in there with some of our motivations behind it is fantastic. And then to get the call and say, hey, we got 12 shows, 15 shows, we want you to be one of it, come in and do it. And I'm like, hell yeah. And I'm like, well, what are we doing? And she tells us the booth layout. She goes, oh yeah, you're gonna be in the booth with Meet the Presses. I'm like, dude, this is my boy. Hey.
I didn't even get that, bro. I got, hey, you want to do a show at NRA? And I was like, oh, you mean be a guest on your show? She's like, no, do your show. I'm like, oh yeah.
Well, next year I'm hoping, because I mean, having your own booth. I mean, you have a modest amount of equipment that you had to set up,
yes,
right? Because you're doing one-on-ones with people. We're trying to do a panel, and it's really hard. I got 4 cameras set up, 5 microphones, all this other stuff. I got cameras on gimbals. I turn around and look at people. All of this shit worked at home. 30% of it worked when we got here.
oh my god.
And trying to figure out what's going to work, what's not. I'm like, the breakdown and setup is a ridiculous amount of work. So next year we're hoping they can maybe get a third line, each get a booth, and that would be perfect for us.
Yeah.
To be able to do that, because just that delay in coverage time. There's an hour, 15, 20 minutes for one guy, but there's 2 of us.
Yeah.
That's 45 minutes downtime between shows. We don't want to have that dead air. We want to be able to get out there.
That's why I only had 2 people scheduled for Friday. I had High Point and Pete Brownells. And I was like, if everything goes wrong setting up High Point, at least I know them and go, hey, man, sorry, time's cut short. Let's do a little quick thing and be over with. Because I got to get ready for Pete, someone I don't know and I have no relationship with, and I need to get it going. And they were like, yeah, don't worry about it. It took me, as long as it tells me to plug this into this, plug that into that, and it all came up, and it only went to crap yesterday. In the middle of a 45-minute interview, I looked down at the friggin' thing, and it says it turned off 27 minutes ago. Luckily, I was recording through 2. I was also recording through the laptop, so it picked it up. I looked down, and where's the red light? Why is there no red light? Yeah, it stopped recording, but I have it. I'll go ahead and say it. I feel blessed because I got invited. I'm looking around. I got my friends here. Like, we're all here. I haven't seen the show yet, but I've seen my friends. And NRA is slowly turning around. I talk about it being an aircraft carrier. As long as we keep electing proven Second Amendment advocates onto the NRA board that have a vision of making it better, we can change this around. I mean, this is 1 year with Amanda. Now we just, Teresa Einacker from New Jersey, she just got on. I've worked with her for the last 10 years. You know what I mean? She's worked with multiple groups and fought in New Jersey. We had John Richardson, another advocate who I've been on podcasts with, and I was podcast co-host with. So I know this dude is 100% Second Amendment. We didn't know what the other 70-something freaking members were that were allowing people to fly around the world with multi-$1,000 suits. That's over. So if you're a member of the NRA and you were disgusted by them and you didn't vote, start looking into it and vote in every election. We got good people running. Charlie Brown from High Point, he's actually tried to get the 76th seat this year and he didn't win enough votes. So he's going to run normally again next year, and hopefully he gets elected because he's another dude that's been financing and helping me from the very beginning on a handshake. He was like, I think what you're doing is good work. And he was like, here's some High Point firearms to use at your events and introduce people to firearms with. Because, it's a budget point, but it's also the cheapest PCC you can get, sub $300 that actually works. And I've introduced hundreds of people to firearms using that because in Jersey we have indoor ranges. Mm-hmm. So introducing your mom or your grandmother to a pistol caliber carbine with a 16-inch barrel, so all the concussion is out there, it's not as loud, it doesn't kick as much, all of a sudden they like it. And I put it in something called a bullpup chassis from a company called High Tower Armory. So now all the weight's back here in her shoulder and the gun feels light. So I got kids and small women shooting this thing like it's the greatest thing in the world. And they're like, I like this one. All because one, Charlie gave that to me. Hightower Armory heard about us through High Point, donated that to us. And it's like, yeah, people gave you the guns for free. They didn't give me the ammo, bro.
Yeah. But don't you look? How many days a year do you think you're on the road a lot? You go into the events, all right? How many of the people that you know in your life that don't do this kind of stuff that turn around and tell you, and you'll know the question I'm going to ask you. What's it like getting all them guns for free?
As I just paid my $900 hotel bill, I'm like, how many guns could I've purchased for $900 instead of come to Atlanta?
It's a lot of high points.
That's a lot of high.
Yeah,
That's almost my body weight in high points.
I love that. It's like, oh wait, well, okay, so I drove 17 hours, 4 tanks of gas, stayed in a rat trap hotel for 5 days, had to lug all my brand new equipment across the country. You know, and then I got a $4,000 expense tab that I had to take off from work to do the event. But yeah, that
$1,500.
yeah, that's $189, introductory price Sportsman's Warehouse gun that they sent me. Yeah, really helped soothe it.
And not only because they sent it to me, I'm going to say it's the best gun ever vetted and sell my integrity out for it.
Yeah.
I just put it together. The rental car and the hotel is $1,500. Not the gas, not food, not anything else, just those two things. And good Lord, not the parking.
No.
Yeah,
Not the park.
that's a fun expense to do. $20 every day.
I'm stealing the horse next time. I'm taking the plane down. I'm getting off of it. I'm stealing the horse, riding into the hotel, and letting the horse just roam around Atlanta every night. I'm not paying for parking either.
Well, we got to find out where Anheuser-Busch keeps their Clydesdales for me and you.
Yeah, that's
We need some big ass horse.
maybe I'll get a rickshaw.
Yeah, those horses probably have better security than this event.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, that's
But
not.
and Atlanta traffic is frustrating. I have not gone
Incredibly.
the same way here
The
the entire time.
I'm screaming every morning we're driving over here going, this is the stupidest highway system I've
Dude,
ever seen. What is it?
Now, see, we all know a little bit of history, and we understand that they burned Atlanta down. I totally understand after driving here why they did that.
after that second trip here, you're thinking justified.
Yeah, I'm like,
All right,
makes
sense.
Sherman might not have been a bad guy.
No, it's a beautiful city. I mean, you look at it, the one thing that blew my mind is that you have 2 skylines. You got one in front of you, one in back of you, and you're trying to figure out which one is Atlanta. And the only person you can really ask is the crackhead standing on the corner when you get to the red light.
I ain't asking crackhead nothing. So,
No, you don't. They ask you.
Yeah.
They always initiate first.
And last night said, your headlights ain't on. Your headlights ain't on, yelling at me.
and I love the way you say it. And you know it was a white person. So I went to Best, I know. I went to Best Buy. I had to pick up something for the stuff we're using, and
Same.
and I'm at Best Buy, and they were like, "Hey, you should get a 4 terabyte memory, external memory for your laptop."
Cool. You throwing it in or
Well,
what?
I looked at it. No, well, actually, I was talking to Charlie Cook, and he told me I should get one. And I was like, "How much are they?" He said, "Well, they're $99 at Walmart." And I looked, and it was like $400 at Best Buy. So I tell the lady, "Ma'am, I'd want to get this, but my friend says it's cheaper at Walmart." She was like, "Oh yeah, it's definitely cheaper. You should go there." I was like, "Well, which Walmart should I go to?" So I pulled up Walmart on the map, and she was like, "Oh, no. You're not going to the closest one. That's not safe. Hold on." She clicks the thing. Could y'all give me a good Walmart? And you know exactly what I mean by good Walmart. 30 minutes away. I had to drive 30 minutes outside of Atlanta to get to a good Walmart.
We went to
Sounds about right.
Yeah, we went to Best Buy on Friday. Was Saturday?
Thursday.
Thursday, because they didn't tell us it was an Ethernet connection. So
I had to get the same piece of equipment.
So I get up and we're looking, where are we going to get this thing? So I go on the phone, I get on to Best Buy, I ordered a part on Best Buy, and I'm like, all right, great, we got to go pick it up, no rush. They close at 8 o'clock. We get on the internet. I get an email at 7 o'clock from Best Buy telling me they canceled my order because they couldn't verify my credentials. I was using my Best Buy card.
Yeah, you can't trust.
And they
those
said,
people.
well, it's an out of state. They said, well, it was confusing because it was an out of state purchase. It's because I'm out of state.
Because I'm here.
I live in, yeah, of course it's out of state. I'm not running back to North Carolina for a $40. I'm here.
Wow. Yeah, I just walked in the store looking lost and did what I do at home. I found a lady that I was like, hey, excuse me, ma'am, where can I find this? And she took me directly to it. It was great. And then she directed me to a safe Walmart.
Oh, well, I'm sitting there, just turning around and Michael Marshall's joined us and he hasn't said a damn thing.
Marshall's been there a while, man.
Well, I'm looking at you. I'm trying to engage with my guest.
I actually have to go.
All right, well, just
You
let
guys are
Marshall
having
come in.
conversations, so.
Marshall, what's up, brother?
Not too much. How are you?
Doing well. Last day of the show, we figured we'd grab a hold of Tony while we had the opportunity to do so.
It was good
And,
seeing you, Tony, again.
It was great seeing you again, Marshall. I got a roll. I got a guest coming through in 10 minutes. So I have to hook my equipment up.
You want a beverage? Open up the little cooler. You want a water or a lemonade?
Water.
Yeah, we got. There should be a couple in there for you.
Thought you were going to say liquor. I was like, okay.
No, that would
No,
normally
they-
be 2 booths over, but they put the kibosh on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently Georgia kind of frowns upon that. Guns are fine, but dry state maybe? I don't know. It's kind of funny.
No, it's the commingling of guns and alcohol that they disapprove of.
Yeah, because I'm going to go find firing pins to put in them before I
Right.
shoot up the Hooska out.
While you're drunk.
Yeah, while I'm drunk.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only pound for pound world's largest gun bunny, Tony Simon. Tony, do a quick shout out. Tell people where they could find you on the interwebs.
You can find and donate to what we do at diversityshoot.com. Visit me on IG at Simon Says Train. Also, I'm on Twitter at Second for Everyone, using the numbers. And I'm on Facebook. That was the last one. Facebook at the Second is for Everyone and Tony Simon. So you can find me any of those ways and really support the work we do because we're traveling a lot. We're growing the Second Amendment. We're at 5 ranges throughout New Jersey. We're setting up. We're trying to get to Arizona in 2026 because I'm going to be out there speaking, and I'm trying to do diversity shoot in Vegas before SHOT Show.
Nice. And unlike some other individuals that I've seen on the internet who everything is about the fundraising, you are about the work.
Oh, yeah.
And the work that you do is fantastic. I know people have for the last 10, 12 years are saying, dude, Tony Simon is the real deal. This is the guy that matters.
I appreciate
And I'll
that.
say it that way.
I appreciate that. Hey, just get the work done. Keep doing the work. Just keep doing the work.
Absolutely. Tony Simon, ladies and gentlemen. I'll catch you over there in a little bit. I'll swing
Yep.
by and say
Nice to meet you, Tony.
hello.
All right.
We'll walk the floor in a little bit.
Now get out of here.
Very
You're throwing off the
slowly.
white balance.
Yeah, I'm throwing off the white balance. I made the credit score, the whole program drop. No.
Hey, David, hook Tony up with a water soup. We got one in the bag over there. I know that we got something. We downsized the cooler this morning, so I wasn't carrying another 80 pounds of liquid with me.
Don't make any assumptions. No, my credit score is already been.
What's up? Not too much. Bill, come on over and jump in, buddy. What's up, pal?
How you doing, my man?
Yeah, we got the headphones, headset, microphone, and our good friend Will Sandoval from Occupy is stopping by over here to tell us about some new and innovative stuff going on with the Occupy family of firearm-related gadgetry.
Yeah. Hey, man. How you doing?
We're doing well. It's last day of the show. You have been nothing but smiles this whole show. Every
Yeah.
time I see you.
Yeah. It's been actually a very exciting show for us. I mean, from a year ago to now, one, I think we have transformed our company. And number two, I think that we're chipping away the fact that the industry needs to start endorsing or, taking in technology and utilizing it for the right reasons, right? So, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when we started the company, I remember you and I talked, and it was a very, small, product line. And since then, we have evolved the product line. I think that people are starting to recognize that safety, security of people, assets, and firearms is critical, right?
Right.
So this show, I think that has been fantastic because we're seeing all different types of individuals coming to our booth. We show them our products, the technologies we're bringing out, and they walk away going, wow, we didn't know this thing existed, and so it's been a great show for us so far.
Well, you guys are also benefiting from the fact that the demographic of gun owners is starting to change a lot. You've got a tremendous increase. I know we see it at the gun counter with a tremendous increase in the amount of young people and especially women, families coming in. So when you've got, the old thought of, you take your gun, you put it home, you put it in the drawer or the safe and everything is fine. You got a lot more people that are safety conscious because you hear of the tragedies often and they get on the news and, people say, well, what can I do about it?
Yeah.
Well, you guys have come up with a lot of solutions to how to do about it that you keep complete control over without somebody else coming in and telling you how to do it.
And that is, I spent 35 years of my life in the technology world, right? Working with major companies like Honeywell and Philips and so on. And, we didn't realize, the acceptance of technology in those areas. It seemed like every industry was accepting technology at the same rate. And when we basically ran into our issues with, with my own firearm, which I left it in my second home, and I didn't know if, how I can monitor it. If someone breaks in and steals my gun, how will I know? And I go, this is crazy, I could buy a garage door opener and I know whether the garage door was left open or is closed. I'm able to do the same thing now with my door knobs, right? You could buy a Schlage product, and it just dawned on me. I'm like, why isn't it that we could do the same thing with firearms? Is it that we're pushing people to do stuff? No. Are we pushing technology on people? No. But everyone has a cell phone now. Everybody's connected. So all we're doing now is basically enabling people to have options and to utilize the same technology they use every single day and just apply it in this industry. That's really what we're trying to do at this point.
Well, I know that you and we're going back to the very beginning. All right, very beginning. You guys gave me one of your prototype units to test out, and it's still working in the house right now. I know when somebody's in the armory, I'll just put it that way. They don't know that I know that they're in the armory, but yes, I know you're in the armory. But the product that you guys came up with, let's give them a quick background for those who don't exactly know what it is we're talking about. Yeah. And how many additional uses have we come up with? Hundreds and hundreds of uses outside of the original spectrum of ideas, but things that you could use this technology for. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
You can't bring out.
I can't bring out.
No, that we can't bring out. We can bring out a facsimile, but we can't have that on screen live.
Oh, really?
Yeah, YouTube does not like things that
right.
go bang.
No problem. So we'll bring that out.
There we go. Even if they're inert.
Okay.
And we had this on yesterday, as a matter of fact. We had your partners on yesterday.
Okay.
Talking about that, and we wanted to bring you guys on to talk about it as well.
Yeah. So 2 years ago when we started the company, right, we really basically just took the technology that was out there and we created a small little beacon, right? This little beacon allows us to know when there is any type of movement that occurs on anything, right? So what we have done is you could apply this on any type of asset, any type of valuable, and whether it's a child or someone just grabs, your product, this is all interconnected and you get immediate notification. So imagine it's a security system in your pocket, right? So we started with this. This was the whole technology around it. And as we started, going into the firearm industry, we realized that, hey, this is great, but people wanted to secure their firearms even more. So we created the right partnerships and we have embedded the technology now into the old cable lock, right? So instead of buying the cable lock or the cable locks you see every day, now we have designed it so that you're able to put the technology in it, close it up, and now if anybody touches your firearm with the cable lock, you immediately, boom, get a notification, right? The same thing for the trigger lock. So it was redesigned so that we're able to put the technology. This is step one. Step two on that is that as soon as someone opens it, or someone unlocks it, you'll get notifications as well, letting you know that someone has access to your firearm.
Right, because sometimes it's not always an emergency.
That is correct.
You know, if somebody, you have husband and wife at home or something, and somebody's going through the drawer where you keep the gun and you move it, you're getting notified.
That's right.
You know, but okay, my husband just moved the gun. It's going to be a different kind of emotional sense as opposed to the second alert that says the lock just came off the gun, because now it's going to make, okay, why is the lock coming off?
That is correct. And that's been one of the biggest things. People say, hey, it's great that you could tell me that he moved. Okay, so no big deal. But how about if someone does take off the lock, or someone is trying to do something with my gun? Can you give me a second level of notification? Just like level 1 of alerts, you know, for hurricanes, level 2, we're trying to do the same thing, just making you aware of what's happening so you could actually take some type of action, right? And that's what we have done. So we started with the beacon. We have embedded into the cable lock and the trigger lock so that they become smart. And, you know, yesterday you had our partner, right? And we have taken the slide lock, and we have also integrated the technology into it, right? So as soon as someone picks up your firearm, you know it. In about 6 months, we're releasing the next level of software so that we know when the slide move forward, and that we know that the firearm is engaged. And then if the firearm discharge, we'll let you know that as well, right? The biggest thing for us is that you can notify not only the owner of the firearm, you could notify anyone. It could be you know, your group of emergency,
Yeah,
you know.
you have your friends and family thing
that's
that
correct.
you can have that says, okay, everybody on this list is going to get notified about this level, that level, or the next level. You know, you can.
Yeah, and the
differentiate
biggest thing
all
for
that.
us is that we don't charge a monitoring fee. So you buy the product, you download our application, and you're good to go.
Right.
So you're not paying us a monthly fee. Now, there's been a lot of requests for people to that have asked us for, hey, how about if I'm not home? My friends are not home. Can you connect me to a dispatch center so that I could call the police that someone is messing with my firearms? So for a $4.99 a month, we are able to give you access to live monitoring of up to 10 devices with a dispatch center, that as soon as you get the notification, you could click on your phone, and that will get a live agent to come online and be able to help you either dispatch police or be able to dispatch EMS, or you could say call these individuals through the phone and make them aware of the situation. So not only do we have you monitoring and get notifications at no cost, if you decide to just spend, again, $5, $60 a year, now you're able to have someone remotely on a dispatch center be able to help you with that as well. Which is, I mean, our partner is alarm.com, so we actually are working with alarm.com on that to offer that service as well.
And I know when we had discussed a lot of this, you and I was saying, I mean, we sat in a brainstorming session for a couple of hours sitting there saying, well, what other applications could we use this? And we spoke about America's horrific trouble with, you know, drug addiction.
That's correct.
You know, and you have, you know, people have drugs that are in the house, and if, you know, you want to know if somebody's tampering with them, you're not going to count every pill every day. You know, it's not, it's by the time you see the pill bottle is half empty, it's already too late. You know that the problem is there. So you guys have adapted it to pill bottles.
That's correct. Actually, it's been one of the biggest sellers, especially with elderly, where, you know, they might have a grandson, or they might have someone, a service guy that comes in, you know, and they, you know, a lady basically came to us and said, hey, you know, I see that my pill bottle seems to go, you know, the pill seems to be disappearing. So what we have done now is that when we ship you the little beacon, it comes with 3M's tape on it. Some people are putting it on the top of the bottle. Some people are putting it inside the cap of the bottle. And basically at that moment, it becomes a monitor bottle cap. Anyone touches your pills, everyone tries to open it, you immediately know that that has happened.
And we discussed this too. It's not only a matter of, this is a preventative measure, right?
That's correct.
This is a safety measure. But I know that when my mom was still alive, she had to take medications 3 times a day, and I wasn't always at the house to monitor that. So, Mom, do you call her up in the morning or the afternoon? Did you take your pills this morning? Did you take them this afternoon? And a lot of times she wouldn't remember what it was. So if you have this, you have an elderly parent that maybe has to have something, you know, dosages of a certain time of day, you can get an alert every day. So, okay, she just took her pills. I know Mom took her pills because I just got the alert. You know, or you can call and say, all right, you just moved your pill bottle. Did you take them? There's a way to depend. The usages are so endless.
And we have taken that even further, Frank, because some people were saying, hey, how about if I forget to take my pills, right? So we have actually built on the application now that not only do you get notifications when someone picks up the bottle, you could actually create a schedule that I'm taking my pill at 10:30 in the morning, and it gives you a little alert at 10:25, and it tells you take this pill. So now we're taking it to the next level where we're basically saying, hey, gun safety, security is great, but our technology works across many things.
It's so much broader than that.
That's right. So we have learned and from people what they want, and we had people come to us and say, hey, I forget to take my pills, right? And by the way, Frank is traveling. Even he didn't see the notification because he's doing a podcast. He doesn't have time. Can you put something so that I'm reminded to take my pills? So we have built that into the application as well.
And I know that every month I get a weekly recap.
You get the weekly recap.
I get the weekly everything that happens with my Occupy beacon. I get a weekly recap that something moved, what time it moved, you know, and it's a complete breakdown of everything. And then you've got it for so many other applications. It's fantastic what you guys have been able to do just in a year and a half, 2 years time.
Yeah, I mean, today our company has evolved from, hey, we got a tag and we called it, Tag Me, where we actually have 3 product offerings now. Tag Me Alert is basically all about monitoring any type of asset. We sell you the beacons. They come with 3M stickers. You could actually just download the app. You're good to go, and you place the beacons anywhere you want to. We also have Tag Me Secure, which is specifically the technology embedded in cable locks, trigger locks, and now the new slide lock, which Keith talked about.
Right.
What we are introducing here today in your show
This is new.
This is actually called Tag Me Assist. There was a lot of requests that they go, great, you could take care of my assets, you could take care of my farms. How about me? How can you take care of me, right? And the perfect example was security guards. There's a lot of companies out there that are private, small security agencies, and they don't have the money to be buying $5,000 body cams. We also learned that there is, in many security situations, I might be by myself, I get taken over by, a bad guy, and my phone comes flying, my radio comes flying, and I don't have a way to notify that I need assistance. So we have taken the personal emergency response technology that's been used for a long time with the elderly, and we're bringing it to here. So we're actually introducing the first cellular card with an emergency capability button and geolocation built in, so that if you are a security guard, you put this on your vest, you could put it in your pocket, etc. And if something happens and you need assistance, you click twice on the button and it sends immediately notifications to your group. It could be your family members, it could be your co-workers, it could be the police, and immediately you get live tracking of that individual on a map so that you're able to know what is going on with them at that time. So every 30 seconds while that emergency is happening, we're letting people know where he's at and the status of the situation at that moment in time.
If you think about how many hikers every year get lost in the woods, how many kids go missing, how many hunters get hurt in the woods, they can't find their way back. This is a technology that can, supersede what your phone does.
That's correct.
Because your battery life in this, I imagine, is going to be quite a bit longer.
Yeah, it's absolutely a lot longer than a phone. But the most important thing is that in the event of distress, of an emergency, all of us get nervous. You might not know where your phone is. It might be in your backpack, etc. In this scenario, all you have to do is carry it. It comes with a lanyard. You could put it, we actually have little pockets that you could put on your vest that are Velcro. And all you do is tap it on it twice, and you're good to go.
All right, now, what is I'm going to throw a curve because, I'm never afraid to ask you questions. Have you been able to test this for being waterproof?
Yes, this is actually IP69, so it's actually splash proof, and it's actually being tested up to 3 meters of water, right? Okay. And it's able to last underwater for 30 minutes. Now, you might not be able to get a signal through the water, but as far as you taking a shower with it, going into a river with it, or basically falling into a pool, that is actually made to handle that. This is actually completely sealed.
Excellent. And what are the methods of application to the person?
So basically, this could be programmed so that you could actually send an emergency notification with the geolocation, active shooter events. You could actually do a silent alert so that you could tell people, hey, there's a shooter event going on, and you're able to click on that and be able to share it across the board. Right. So from that perspective, you could program this any way you want to and share with as many people as you would like to as well.
I had a question.
Shoot.
Yeah.
So you say if for like how Frank brought up for like hikers and everything, you said cellular,
Yes.
right? So is it, because I wanted to kind of to challenge that of in a lot of situations like hikers, out in the woods, there's not really cell service. So is there any kind of like GPS system in it that kind of works beyond where outside of cellular service in
Yeah,
that
so
kind of
yeah,
situation?
so today this is only cellular, okay,
Right.
but we are coming up with basically a satellite version
Right.
of it, so that it becomes more for hikers or military that might want to use it. Today, this is for the day-to-day. Hey, I'm going to go for a run, or I'm going to
Right.
go for a walk at the park, and something has occurred. One of the things that has happened that we didn't realize is what Frank mentioned. We put this out there, we start taking it with security guards. Well, we got some people calling us and said, hey, I would like to use that on my kid's backpack. So it's gone from, hey, I can only use it for security people or EMS. Now we have parents that are putting this into their kids' backpacks, right? So the child is able to, in case of an emergency, able to tap this. But what we have done is that not only does it send the location to you on your phone, you as a parent could query the location of the card at all times. So if your child is missing or you don't know where he's at and he has the card with him, you could actually query it. And as long as you have cell service, you'll be able to get the location of that. We had a school that called us and they want to do a first trial where they take field trips. And the joke is the guy looks at my name and he goes, hey, every field trip, there's always a William that gets lost. He says, you'll be surprised how many children we go on field trips and little Johnny walks away in this direction while we're going in this direction. And then we go to the bus and we don't know where little Johnny is. So what they're doing is if you look at the front of the car, you're able to put a sticker, you're able to put a, like a identification card. They're going to give it to every single kid on a field trip. So that when they go on the field trip, if you're missing, the teacher or whoever the person is that's with them, they could actually check on every single of the students so you know what's going on as well.
All right, now let me ask you this though. Maybe you thought of it, maybe you didn't. I don't know. Maybe it's a future version, maybe it hasn't.
Yeah.
This has got to be, you have to activate this, all right, in order to be good. What if your kid's on a field trip and he hasn't activated, but you want to know where he is?
That's what I was mentioning. Maybe I didn't, maybe I wasn't clear on that, but the application allows you to query the card.
Oh, so, okay.
So it does it both ways.
All right, so it's a reverse activation.
Yeah, so that's why all of a sudden they're like, oh, I'm going to put it in Johnny's backpack, right? So me as a parent, Johnny hasn't come home. What's going on? I could actually go to the app, click on Johnny's card, and I'll be able to know where that card is at that moment in time.
Yeah, because sometimes if somebody were to find themselves in trouble, they may not be able to.
That is correct.
If they fell victim to an accident, they're unconscious, somebody's holding them.
Absolutely.
You might not have the ability to call for that help. So being able to reach out and ping the device
That is correct.
and say, okay, now I know where it is. That's tremendous.
So we're able to do both. So if you activate it with the button, everyone in the notification list gets it. If you decide to pay the $4.99 a month, a emergency dispatch center gets it. If you are not able to press the button, but you are concerned about someone's health, where their whereabouts, you could actually query the card, ping the card, and you'll get the location. And at that moment in time, every 30 seconds, you could actually still get that location from that individual.
Now, what is your proximity detection for the device?
The device is all cellular. So there's really no limits except having no cellular connection.
All right, I think because I was thinking about that, how you said in the field trip situation, I think this is how Frank may be meaning this as well. So like you said, a lot of kids just wander off. So is there can you set parameters of hey, so we're supposed to be in a group, say 20 feet normally. So as soon as some kid breaks off and there's a trajectory still oh, hey, they're still going the wrong way, then it pings, hey, little Johnny's starting to wander like he does, to hey, go grab, is there some kind of feature like
Yeah,
that?
this is why I smile, because these are the things that get me excited. Yes, it is not in the current version of it,
Right.
but it's going to be available in 2 months, where you're able to create a virtual geofence.
Right.
Okay, so you could say anyone that walks away 30 feet from the group, let me know.
Right.
Right. That function has actually been built into the beacon. That
Get some
it's-
WD-40 on them wheels.
yeah,
Squeak.
squeaky.
But that's awesome to be able to the software I'm assuming that's the software
That's
side of it.
that's just the
Hardware's
software.
already there.
You got it.
Software, boom, the geofencing, because it's like what else? Like I'm sure to a degree, depending on what, like you could probably even use that for your dog. It's like, hey, my house is geofenced. He's got that cute little vest on. Slip that in somewhere so that way
Absolutely.
it's on him. Oh, dog's out the fence, and still be able to. They do get out. You live in the city somewhere with cell service, and eventually with GPS.
Yes.
To then be able to really track the dog for no cost besides entry level of the product.
That's
There's all
correct.
these other smart tag devices, let's say, are
And
super
the big thing
expensive.
about it is that you just said something that I think is key about Occupy, right? You got all these different types of devices, and if you went into the industry, there might be each of them in different applications,
Right.
and it gets very confusing to people. Which app do I use, etc. Our application brings all of this technology, whether it's the beacon or the fire, arm devices, or this new tag assist card, all into the same interface.
Right.
So you don't have to be going around looking for what app is going to work with what. Now, one thing, because I know we're probably short on time, this functionality, Frank, we understand that there's a lot of people that might not be able to say, hey, I want to go buy this, etc. So we actually are introducing here in 2 weeks our Tag Me Assist safety application for free to anyone that wants to use it. So what you do is you download our app, and inside the app, now there's a new menu that is called Personal Safety. When you click on that, it allows you to select what type of notifications, which, maybe the viewers won't be able to see it, but you guys will. You go to our app here. Let me sign on to the app so that you guys are able to see it. Here we go. And when you look at this, you'll actually see that there's a menu that says, personal safety. You click on that, and it allows you to enable this feature in our app at no cost.
Right.
And it allows you to pick which notifications you want to send, and it allows you to decide who are the emergency contacts you want to notify. This is the cool thing about it. Once you're done with those things, and you actually look at at your phone in lock position, tap it. We have created the emergency safety widget. You click on that.
Now, real quick, so is that for both iOS and Android? There's a widget for both.
That's a widget for both. And look
Nice.
what you see.
Super easy, 4 big buttons,
That's
interface. I feel like anybody in a hurry could do it. And I had a quick question about the card or even the tags.
Yes.
Is there a way for so like how do you set up? Is there like RFID for this, so you could be like tap to the phone, boom, set, send it on its way? Or is
Actually, every single tag, whether
QR
it has a QR code. When you're setting it up, you take a picture of the QR code, and it brings it in. You don't have to enter any information.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Nice.
and every time one of them moves, that QR code that's affiliated, you get the alert on your phone, and you put the description of what that device is.
Right.
Because I have gun room 1, gun room 2. If you have pill bottle, whatever it is, you can self-identify it just by the number. So you just rename it, and whatever is moving, you know about it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's fantastic, because I know there's, for this situation of utilizing the phone's hardware already with just what seemingly a fantastic software, like other apps that are similar but seemingly have features that are for free on your software kind of behind a paywall on others.
Yeah.
To just be seeming the good of like, hey, this is just for the good of the people.
That's what we
Boom,
want to do.
done.
Look, I mean, we understand that we're kind of pushing the envelope in bringing technology to the industry, right? But whether we agree on whether technology is good or bad, safety and security, all of us are always concerned about it. So we just felt that it's important for us to get the industry people to start using these types of tools for their benefit. So we had built everything for the card, and then we realized, well, why don't we just make this available within the app so that people are able to take advantage of it? So as you can see, all of these buttons are available. You could actually erase the buttons if you want to, but it's as simple as, hey, I hear there's an active shooter event, click on it, you connect, and then when you open the app, you will see that we're sending out all the notifications, and we send the notifications out for up to a period of 24 hours. Right? So from that perspective, you guys are able to, send it out. All the customers or users, all they have to do is download the app, create a username and a password in 2 weeks, and you'll be good to go.
Well, we're going to be putting the link to the app on the website as well.
I think Marshall had a
Yeah,
question.
Mike, jump in there, buddy.
Yeah, I've got a future innovation on your device. Can you make it so that you can tell if a firearm left a holster if you're wearing your holster?
Yeah, so today, whether if you put the beacon on a firearm through either a beacon holder or something like that, as long as it fits on the holster, when it gets moved, it will actually tell you that it got moved. Okay. Now the question is whether are there holsters out there that will be able to accommodate the beacon, right? We have not tested that, and we have not gone out there to test it out, but it might be something we could think about for the future.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. Okay, is if you're walking, the tag's going to be moved.
Yeah, but the tag actually today, the software has the capability to set the sensitivity. You as the user could set the sensitivity, or you could actually snooze the beacon for a certain amount of time. So as an example, you're taking your firearm with you to the gun range in the car. You don't want this thing to be notifying you every minute that it's moving. So you could say, I want to snooze it for the next couple of hours, and then it will actually turn on back again. So yes, you could actually snooze it, or you could reduce the sensitivity on the beacon today on the software.
Well, what I'm thinking is if you're wearing your everyday carry, right? You're wearing it for a purpose. Okay. If you have to, for whatever reason, present your weapon, giving that alert to additional people could actually assist you by getting help going your way.
Yeah, I mean, those are, just thinking through that, those sounds like software features. We could probably add some of these things. This sounds like a great idea. Hey, you have an emergency, you pull up your gun, you could get people notified immediately that, hey, I just pull up my gun from my holster. I need some level of assistance, right? Those are features we could actually build, but today they're not in the software as of right now.
Because I'm looking at the everyday carry person. I'm looking at security guards and also law enforcement.
Yeah, I mean, your thought actually, we've been, we had a call from the police department that they wanted us that I think it was exactly what you said, when if a police officer pulls their firearm from their holster, they know that there's something really happening. They want to be able to know that has happened, so they could let other people, be aware that you as a police officer just pulled up your gun from your holster, so that you could provide some level of assistance. That is something that has come up a couple times, but it's absolutely not in the software today.
Got.
Yeah, but the way you guys come up with new advancements, I mean, I hear every couple of weeks, every couple of months, hey, Frank, we got this going on now. There's always something that they're adding, improving, expanding upon. You guys don't stop.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, Frank, I mean, and I think that all in our day-to-day life, right? All of our phones, all the software that you guys are using, everything that you guys are using today to do this podcast. Every few weeks, they come up with a new feature that is delivered to your software and you upload it, right? Software, that's the beauty of it. You're able to innovate, add new features as people come up with them, and all you have to do is release it out there. So from where we were 2 years ago, which we had one app with just a little dashboard to the amount of features we have today, right? We are light years ahead of where we were 2 years ago, right? And we just keep adding, and the customers don't have to pay
Oh,
for
well,
it. That's
I
it.
remember sitting up in your office and you had the pod, and then you had the little pod cover, and that was pretty much it. And you had some little tape,
Yeah.
and explaining it to it, and we're sitting there with a big 8-foot white erase board, and they're drawing. Well, what if we look at about doing this? What if we look about doing that? Can it do this? Can it do that? Every single idea that I bounced off of these guys was with one of two responses. We're already working on that, and yes, we can do that. And everything that we discussed, they're already in and doing. Before other companies are out there trying to run a prototype, they're trying to put something in. It takes them 8-10 years in R&D to get something together. These guys have already got 30 years of background of R&D where it's like, oh, you wanted to do that? Yeah, call me in about an hour. That's how fast these guys seem to be moving.
I could tell that there's a lot of One of the reasons why you asked me why you're smiling so much. Well, you know what? I think that a lot of manufacturers in the farm industry in particular are realizing that the demographic is changing. A younger group is coming in. A lot of people are asking, how about my phone? How do I open this? How do I close this? How do I monitor this? They're getting a lot of those requests. I'm not going to mention names, but I can tell that I have met with all the major players. Some of them have signed up already on what we call our OEM program, where they're basically are going to offer the technology, or we're going to be doing some development for them, because they realize that a year from now, the demographic it's not going to stop, right? People are not going to stop. This is happening whether we agree with it or not, right? Because it has happened everywhere else. So one of our biggest values, if you want to say that, is we're going to continue building products. We're going to continue to bring technology. But I think one of the biggest values of us is the knowledge of 35 years of software development, data security and things like that. So we're going to be helping some of the major manufacturers evolve some products into the new connected platforms that are out there.
Well, and I think one of the other strongest assets that you guys have is how receptive you are to ideas. They're very receptive to input from the consumer when they talk about stuff. People can approach you with an idea that you have, and there's nothing that he's never looked at me and all of the crazy crap that I've thrown at you over the years have said, that's a stupid idea. And I know some of them have been. He looked at it, and no matter how weird your idea is, he's going to find that little chunk of gold in it and figure out there's something here we can work with. They're very responsive to.
Well, the reality of it is that, all of us, no matter how smart we think we are, we don't know it all. And the best ideas come out of left field. If I could say one thing about my experience in software development is that some of the best features out there are things you never thought about. And in many cases, you're sitting at a bar drinking a beer, and the guy comes up with some crazy idea, and then you're going to go, oh my God. Everybody needs that, right? So we are used to this. Unfortunately, because of the amount of funding, the cost, and everything else, like any other business, we have to prioritize, right? But even at the prioritization level, we're moving at a very, very fast pace, because we want this industry to really, accept some of the technology things that we're bringing, and we want to get the community and the market to start moving in that direction as fast as we possibly get them there. So taking ideas from people is the number one thing that we always are going to endorse. That's just very valuable to us all the time.
Well, like I said, you guys have made tremendous advances in a couple of years. I'm proud of you guys.
Thanks, man. If I could say one thing on your podcast is that, 3 years ago, I contacted Frank, and he didn't know who I was. We didn't know each other. And, we both live in Charlotte, and out of nowhere, I'm meeting with some random guy in this conference room that we rented. I brought my head of software, and it was like we were friends, like we had known each other for 20 years. And Frank has been a big proponent of what we're doing. I don't know how to thank you enough for all the support you continue to give us, Frank, and your team. And, we look forward to hopefully the next one, show you even more new stuff that we're working on.
Well, we've said time and time again, like all we're interested in is giving good products to the people so we can help save lives.
Yep.
That's what the Second Amendment, a huge chunk of it is about, is saving lives. You guys are developing technology that does two things. One, it's going to save lives, and two, it's something very important to the Second Amendment community, anonymity. Because the one thing that you haven't said now that we've discussed in the past is that there is no tracking from you guys. You can operate the system anonymously. You don't have to worry about reporting to this one, reporting to that one. There is no government intervention in what you're doing. There's so many products out there. Oh, register it with this one, register it that one.
As a matter of fact, I mean, if I could touch on that, really, sorry that I cut you off, Frank, but I want to make a point on that because that was one of the first questions you asked us when you basically met with us. Number one, when you go on download our app, Android or iOS, we do not request your name. We do not request any personal information. All you're doing is signing up with an email. I don't know if you're using your email or you're using your wife's email. I do not know. And a password. That is it. We don't request address. All of these beacons today, they do not know where they are. Okay? You are the only one. If you put in there that this is your armory, and when it reports to your armory, I don't know if your armory is in your house or if it's in some building somewhere else. The other thing is that we do keep that log that we send you every week,
Right.
your history of things. We made it very clear we actually wipe out all of that information every 30 days.
Yeah,
Okay.
now you can save and retain your own logs
Yes.
and keep it on your phone, on your computer, do whatever you want to do. But you guys don't retain any of that information.
That's correct,
Because
we
when
don't.
we first started this, there was a whole lot of people talking about how NSA was tracking people. Credit card companies were tracking purchases. Who does tracking this? Who's tracking that? We want to know what you buy, when you buy it, how much you spent on it, where you bought it, or it. The Second Amendment community is extremely suspicious of government intervention because we all know that the 10 most frightening words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help you."
Yeah.
We know that's not true. So you guys providing something that helps cater to that sense of, I need to be left alone.
And it's interesting you say that because we looked at privacy and security not from a governmental point of view, which is critical. Right? We just looked at it from the day-to-day security of using a phone or using an application. I mean, you get a virus, and all of your information ends up somewhere with a scammer that is going to take your credit card number and things of that nature. I do worry about the government and all of those things. But if we're able to take care of these other situations with major encryption, security, and do it properly, the rest of it just falls in place. So today we don't request your name, we don't request your address. You're not buying anything from us. And if you're buying one of those upgrades, you're buying it through the Apple Store or through the Android Store. They're the ones who have your credit card information. They're the ones who have your information already. If you already bought something, we don't know who you are. I don't want to know who you are. And we don't keep any of that information whatsoever. And any information of the beacon is basically wiped out every 30 days. We go starting from zero every month, the first day of the month.
There you guys have it. I don't know what's in store for us next, but I'm sure it's going to be something cool.
Yeah,
But-
we're working on a new technology. We'll be releasing it at next NRA, but it is basically taking into consideration the body cam and the video capability that is out there, and making it available to consumers at a very inexpensive cost with no monthly, subscriptions.
Well, I know there's bigger and brighter things ahead for you guys, and you always come through shining with some more stuff. We know that you've got some new interests that you're not going to be announcing at this show, but I'm going to say thumbs up, good.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you so much,
We
Frank.
can't wait for that to come into fruition because we're going to be working with that with some other stuff that we're working on, and I think
That sounds great. Yeah.
we finally have something we can collaborate on.
Hey, absolutely. Like I said, unfortunately, we can't mention some names, but some great things have happened to us in
Yes.
this show. And you'll be hearing about that over the next 90 days. And it's just very exciting for us.
Very, and we're happy and proud of you guys. We could not be happier for you. these guys have really earned my trust and faith and confidence, and I know they'll do the same for the industry. These guys support everything they got in this product, and as somebody who believes in them, I believe in these guys and the product. These A1 guys, Occupy, give a website where people can call up and grab a hold.
Yeah,
of this
absolutely. I
stuff.
mean, yeah, you could go to our website is, standard www.occupy, and that's spelled OCUFII.com. We actually are making an upgrade, with some of the new products over the next week. But here in the next 7 days, you'll have everything live, and you'll be able to, play with some of the stuff that we talked about.
All right, awesome. And we're going to be doing some reviews of some of the new products that are out there. So we'll be doing some demonstrations on the YouTube channel where we can actually show a firearm. Because it'll be pre-recorded. We can't show it here because YouTube will kill the feed as soon as a firearm is brought up into screen. So I apologize for that, but that's not.
That's perfectly fine, and we understand, and we're here to support you in any way. So definitely. But by the way, when we send you the car, please don't take a hammer like you've done with all of our products and break it.
I know.
Plastic
Yeah,
can only do so much.
Yeah, that's it's kind of my trademark. It's kind of what I'm known for. All right, Dan, do you have any follow-up questions?
No, I'd like to keep contact because I have some ideas for how Marshall was saying for the firearms of some way to kind of make that work so it could fit.
Yeah, we don't take ideas from anybody. I'm kidding.
Very close,
with
very
holsters
close-minded.
and maybe software. Because just quick question: is there an accelerometer in the device at all?
Yes.
Okay, I can kind of think of some ways to make that work for unholstering firearm. I'd like to talk to you.
Yeah,
about.
actually, not getting into the weeds, we actually have a 6-axis accelerometer built in.
Nice.
So it actually has a gyroscope as well. So that's one of the new advances we're making, because we are basically understanding that the tilt of the firearm, when it comes to training and going to the gun range and using this as a training tool so that you know how your firearm is being moved, not only is it a safety device, it also becomes a mechanical tool you could use to improve your shooting.
Right.
So
that's in some
Right.
incredible versatility
This
on
is
that.
some things that we've discussed.
we talked about this, right? And
Right.
so now we're putting it in motion. But yes, absolutely, we'd love to hear that.
Saying it that way with even more that depending on what capabilities you have with the plastic and how you can do it, I can think of some that furthers how I'm thinking something can be done. Because I'm thinking because at first I was just thinking like how you have for here on the boss lock, just like, just something kind of like pick a tinny, you put that in and do that. Or if you have one specifically made for firearms, remove the puck entirely and put it inside a shell specifically made for the firearm. You know what I mean? So that way you can more easily build it around
And
the
that's
firearm.
and that's the kind of things we talked about. That remember that I made the quick comment that we are helping some of the new firearms, right? Think through it. So just to give a little bit on that, just following in your point, right? You're seeing basically a piece of plastic that is encapsulating just a couple of semiconductors and some telemetry information. But when you really look at it, that is a minute chipset. So we're actually coming up with a true module that is actually almost looks like a piece of paper. And
Jeez.
if you decide, and it will have the same level of technology. So if you look at a firearm, you could actually just slap it anywhere in the firearm inside, like the grip. You're able to just unscrew the grip, slap it in there, and now you have the same technology, and you don't have to have anything on the outside of the firearm. Right. So these are the type of things that we are very familiar with. And, we didn't want to jump the gun day one because we could really scare the industry.
Pun intended.
Yeah, right. And but it's also important that we come up with sophistication, because not everything fits, right? So it's not a one size fits all, and we understand that. But those are great ideas that we are basically, are working. They like Frank knows, we're working on we're the ones funding the company, right? So there's days that we have to prioritize, and some of this technology to make it available does cost a lot of money.
No, absolutely.
But we are bringing the proper people to help us accelerate some of that work.
Absolutely. And like you said, the technology is going so far, and it's much like with like time, you got to stick with the times or get left behind, and to see that kind of innovation and the time and effort, whilst expensive, to see the benefit from security to helping in your training in firearms, the fact that you can, as simple as, I mean, hell, and to that point, for how you say it could be as thin as a piece of paper to have it molded. Again, a lot of I know dyes are expensive. Instead of trying to put a big, not saying it's big and bulky, but to install that into the cap, to just work with maybe even the pharmaceutical side of it, of like, it's just integrated into the cap.
Yeah.
Because that suits that thin piece of paper. I mean, I could think of so many different ways to be able to integrate it. So it's really awesome to see a company really making such a versatile product and
Appreciate it.
and pushing that envelope even further. I think it's kind of lacking here lately.
They don't keep up with the times. They set the time.
They're pushing the envelope. Absolutely.
I mean, that was one of the biggest things for us, and the big smile. I mean, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, you had people come into our booth and they looked at us and they go, it's a little coin, right? Now you got people coming into our booth and we give them the view of everything we're doing, similar to what we're doing here. And there's people walking around, or to walk out of our booth smiling, going, wow, you guys are really trying to innovate, right? You really are trying to help move the industry along. And that was part of the vision, right? And this is, I'm a firearm owner. I'm an enthusiast. By no means am I an expert on every firearm, and I don't intend to be. But we just want to provide the tools for those individuals to decide what they want to do. And our goal is just to continue to push the envelope in innovation at a pace that people accept it, they feel it's safe, they feel it's secure, and that we're not compromising their Second Amendment rights. And as a matter of fact, we're helping them, take control of that even further.
Yeah.
That's really what we want to do.
Even to that same degree, I forget, I'm terrible to say it, but I forget which, but beyond just the second, whichever amendment is, but of your privacy, your information. It's
Fourth Amendment.
The Fourth Amendment. There we go. I was gonna say fifth. That's not the right one. It's the tag knows where it is.
Fifth
it
is
knows
self-incrimination.
Right. Yeah, I know. And it knows when it's not where it was. And that's all it needs. Is, hey, I'm not where I'm at, where I should have been. Hey, I'm gonna send out a signal. Boom, done. It's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dalen's a little young yet. He hasn't remembered all of it.
There's a lot. There's a couple of them.
So does he give you a hard time like that in every podcast?
No. Let me tell you something. I deal with more shit from him on a daily basis than I give back to him. I'm a fat, deaf, old, slow man who can't get out of his own way. But I'm
From Jersey.
Yeah. But I can sneak up on him like a vampire, and he has no idea that.
For somebody as big and colorful as he dresses sometimes, you really got to put a bell on him, because he can't sneak up on you, but it's not my fault you give me all this ammunition. If the only thing you have against me is that I'm young and don't know what your pop culture, I'll take the wins where I can get them.
Yeah, we need to put a tag on him so that
Right.
you know that he's coming, right?
Right. Oh, that's funny you say that. Would there be a how you can monitor when someone gets away from something?
Mm-hmm.
Is there that same capability to monitor when something gets within vicinity?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that is actually already built. So when the beacon goes out of the bounds of that little Wi-Fi base station, we'll let you know that it's out of bounds. Right? When it comes back in, we'll let you know that it came back in.
And this is something that the last time you and I spoke, I said I had an idea that I wanted to speak to you about.
In the microphone, Frank.
We didn't get it. I didn't get a chance to talk to you about something that I had in my head that a lot of people have to deal with. I think you and I need to work on something together. Help me bring one of my babies to fruition.
We're
'cause
here,
it's
Frank.
right in your wheelhouse.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen. Marshall, we got any other questions over there on your end of the world?
No.
All right.
But I do like to get up with him offline because I've got ideas that I'd like to share with him.
Yeah, and what Marshall does is Marshall is an expert in communications as far as radio, cellular, satellite. Everything is what this guy knows more stuff than I'll ever understand about it. And him and you, I know, speak the exact same language. So,
And I work with law enforcement, EMS, fire, a lot.
Yeah, and to your audience, I mean, we do have an info@occupied.com. If anyone has ideas or thoughts, and they're like, look, the product might be missing this, or they could go ahead and send us questions. I actually have made it a point that myself and the head of our software department, we answer all the questions ourselves. We're not sending that to other people in our company because we want to hear what people are saying, because that is going to create that innovation, right? So send us as much information, ask us as many questions as you possibly can, and we'll hopefully be able to apply it in the future to some of our development.
All right. So listen, with that, Bill, I appreciate you coming in as always. Impressed as always. Listen, we're going to take about a 15-minute break to sign out because we got another hour and a half to go. So we're going to tune down the mics, leave the camera on so you can look at the live sign behind Dalen's head, but nobody will be here to sit here and watch unless Mike wants to hang out and talk to everybody, because it's a long walk to the bathroom. So we're going to sign out for a little bit of time, and we'll be back. It's 11:15 now. We'll be back at 11:30. But we'll just leave the wheels turning. If you want, click over to the YouTube channel and watch yesterday's for a little while. Watch yesterday's show until we come back. You got 15 minutes. Keep yourself entertained. We'll see you in a little bit.
Just the boss lock.
It's the boss lock,
Okay,
but with the telemetry on it.
Okay.
Okay, so folks, we are wrapping up the NRA annual meeting. Frank's been there for the last 3 days, bringing you shows and so forth. We really don't have a lot of people in the chat today, unfortunately, so we don't have a lot of questions or anything along those lines. So we're here. The NRA show looks like they are trying to portray that they are going to be a lot more transparent in the future. We kind of got that from Tony Simon today when we were doing an interview with him. And it's looking more and more like that is the path that they are going to be taking in the future. So that can only mean good things for the NRA. Another thing that I do hope that we start seeing from the NRA is that they start becoming a lot more involved in the industry with legislative initiatives and so forth, and helping to stop a lot of the gun control issues that we have going on in the United States, especially in the state of New York. The state of New York is actually getting really aggressive with their gun control, and it is something that we need to start standing up against. It's like Governor Hochul and the New York Assembly are literally calling anybody that's a gun owner an enemy of the state. And that's not the case. The laws they are putting out are extremely egregious, and they actually solve no problems. The ammunition registry that they are working on doesn't solve any problems. It actually creates a burden in order for you to exercise your Second Amendment rights. It's not going to help stop or prevent any type of tragedy from happening. It's not going to help gun violence in any way, shape, or form. Honestly, it is a tool for them to be able to monitor law-abiding citizens and their exercising of the Second Amendment. And that's not what is supposed to be happening. Okay. The Second Amendment says shall not be infringed. And that means that government is to keep its hands off of our weapons. That's what it is. Okay. The 14th Amendment. In fact, I was going through this earlier with some other people off the show. The 14th Amendment provides for equal protection under the law. Well, one of those equal protections is if we are going to allow government to have certain types of weapons and weaponry, then the citizens must also have that equal protection under the law of being able to carry the same type of weaponry. Okay, that's what equal protection under the law is about. It is to make a system of law and order where everyone is equal, where everybody is treated equally. That includes government is treated equally as a citizen. So that means guns that forbid private ownership of certain weapons like AR-15s, but allow government entities to maintain ownership of those same type of weapons is not equal protection. These are the things we need to look at. These are the things we need organizations like the NRA and other civil rights organizations to start looking at, okay, and start realizing that when these laws are put into effect, and they aren't put into effect across the board, i.e., giving the same restrictions to government, then it is no longer equal protection. It is classism. It is setting apart a certain segment of the population and portraying them as being better than the rest of the citizens of the United States. The Constitution starts off with "we the people." Well, we the people are the ones that gave government its authority. Okay, and as such, we the people have more rights than government. We the people also should have the ability to have more than what the government has. Our system has been corrupted and it's been turned on its head compared to what the founders initially envisioned. And this is what we need to have organizations like the NRA fight for. Okay, we need to start restoring this country back to its original intent. Until we start doing that, we're going to start losing more and more of our rights, our freedoms, and our liberties. And that is what was sacred to the founding generation. That is what our country was built on. It was built on a platform of liberty. And we need to start changing and restoring that platform of liberty. Okay, when you kill the foundation of any type of building, you destroy the building. We are seeing that happen with our country. Okay. There's a lot of innovative products that are coming out this year as well from the NRA annual meeting. Stuff like Occupy, the Boss Lock, and many other items. So, folks, help support these people that are supporting your Second Amendment rights, that are working to bring you a new level of safety, to bring you innovations in how to properly handle your firearms, innovations in firearm technologies, all this type of stuff. These are the people that we need to support as a community and as a whole, because these are the people that are working behind the scenes to help support organizations like the NRA, like Liberty First Foundation, etc. Okay, so you can help support these civil rights organizations by supporting these manufacturers and vendors that are bringing out these innovations. Okay, stuff like Occupy is a very innovative platform to improve the safety of not only firearms, but your general safety. These are incredible innovations, and the world we're living in today allows for more innovation than we've ever been able to see.
And the only way we can continue this is by supporting these organizations and these businesses, these companies. So that I want. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of viewers right now, so I do not know that what you guys want to hear. I continue talking about. I'm not there at the NRA annual meeting, so I don't know a lot of what's going on there. So I can't address that as much. I can only address some of the interviews that we've had. And unfortunately, I missed the day one interview, so I can't give you much information on that either. There's been a lot going on across the nation. We've got Colorado that essentially banned any type of single semi-automatic firearms, and that in and of itself is an egregious assault on our rights. We need to be challenging that. We need to be supporting organizations that are going to be taking these legal cases through the court system to get these egregious laws challenged and eventually withdrawn, because all it is a move to disarm you. Today, Colorado is doing it with semi-automatic weapons, which I'm hoping that law does not stand when it's challenged. I don't believe it will stand when it's challenged. But tomorrow, it will be the lever actions, then the pump, and you will end up with a single shot firearm to try to protect yourself with. And at some point, they will ban all firearms altogether. Folks, when we lose our firearms, we lose our freedoms, we lose our liberties, and government becomes our oppressors. They are working extremely hard at doing so now, and we cannot allow it. There is a reason why the Second Amendment was put into the Constitution, and why the founding generation fought so hard to ensure that the citizens would maintain the right to keep and bear arms. Okay, folks. We look like we're about another 4 minutes before Frank comes back from his break. So hopefully we'll see him, and we'll have some other guests coming on. I'm not sure who he's actually lined up, or what he's been able to get set up for the rest of the show today. But Frank has been doing an amazing job while he's been there at the National Rifle Association's annual meeting for 2025. He's been talking to a lot of people. I know he's been working on a lot of things behind the scenes, and it's looking like that this type of deal is going to be happening again next year at the NRA annual meeting, where we're going to see a lot of people that are in the information industry, on YouTube, on Facebook, and other platforms, that are going to be able to bring you this information live. Do interviews, do shows right from the floor there at the annual meeting. And that is going to be that's a good thing. It shows that the NRA wants people to see what they are doing. Before, it seemed like the NRA was doing a lot of fluff, but they weren't taking much action. Okay, and they also weren't being very transparent about where the money was being used or how it was being used. This looks like that's being changed. And if you're a member of the NRA, make sure to vote. The NRA board of directors represents you. Okay, you're the one that puts them in place. And the only way that we can change an organization like the NRA is by you being involved, by you taking action and putting the people into those positions that you want there, ones that are going to be supporting our rights, ones that are going to be utilizing the assets that we give them in a manner that is most effective for the mission and for what they are doing. Okay. But without your support, okay, not just financially, but in voting and in being active in the organization, you're not going to get any of that. That's one of the things that we need people in the Liberty First Foundation to become active, to work on helping us grow this community, to start restoring our constitutional right. The only way that we can do that is by people becoming members and taking an active role and doing things with us to help us advance this agenda. Okay. And I say it's an agenda, but it's not. It's a restoration. It's a process of restoration. Okay. It's restoring our country back to its constitutional roots. The Constitution, if it's not adhered to, is nothing more than a parchment of good ideas. Okay. It takes us, the people, in order to make that Constitution a legitimate organizational structure of the government. Okay. Without us, the people, the Constitution is nothing but a parchment. It's a bunch of words on a piece of paper. It takes us, the people of the United States, in order to give that substance, to give it meaning, to ensure our government does not overstep its bounds. That's the only way it's going to happen. Okay. And organizations like the NRA and many other organizations out there do that. They do it on a daily basis, but they can't do it without you supporting them. We can't do what we do without support from you, our viewers. So with that, I'm saying get involved. Okay. If you're not involved, you're complacent. You are allowing government to take control and you're looking towards government for answers. Okay. The answers don't come from government, they come from us. They come from we the people. That was how this country became great, and that's where we need to get back to. That's the only way that we can restore anything, is by taking back the power for the people. Okay, Frank should be back any minute. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully he will have some new guests and some better for this afternoon. Like I said, I don't really know what he's been up to while he's been there, other than what I've seen on these shows. I know he's been talking to a ton of people. I know he's been out there every day, pounding the pavement, and he's been working on a lot of things. And it'll be exciting in the coming weeks to find out what those things are and what he's been doing. I'm really looking forward to when Frank, when the show is over and we get some time to sit down and talk and start looking at what Frank has been able to put together while he was there. It could be a really exciting time. So, okay, folks. We don't have, like I said, we don't have any comments. Give me some questions. Let me know some things that you guys want to talk about, what you want to know about. I'm here. Okay. Again, Frank should be returning anytime. And we will be able to get him going. I'm sure he's got another person that we're going to be interviewing and talking with. And honestly, I'm kind of hopeful at this new direction the NRA is starting to take. It's going to be really interesting to see how they transition. And there we go. Back.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry about the little bit of a delay. When you're running around over here and you're trying to get something done, you got to keep remembering that everything is 400 yards away. Nothing is close over here. Everything is around. Yeah, throw those on, James. All right. You know how many cameras we have, right, Mike?
No.
Well, I got 4 here in the booth and only one is working.
Of course.
Of course, naturally. Well, when we do the videos, I have those spy glasses that I bought that I try to give the shooter's eye perspective of,
Right.
what I'm doing. And every time I'm doing it, I'm trying to hold the lenses in the middle of the camera. And it's like 2K or 1080p or something. It's not really that great. And I'm always trying to get like a shooter's eye perspective. But when you see the gun in the video, the gun is always down here, in the lower right-hand quadrant, and you don't necessarily see what I see as a shooter. So if I'm trying to run a course or do something, I really can't get a good perspective. So I have to hold the gun up in front of my face where I can't see the target and shoot just so that the lens picks it up. Well, Jamie Marston here has got a solution for my problem, and a solution that I think a lot of people are looking for. So Jamie's with AimCam, and he's got over here the Pro 4K AimCam camera solution for shooters, and this thing is freaking awesome. James, give us an explanation of what you got, a little demonstration, if you would.
Yes, what we wanted to create was the real perspective, the real POV that the shooter sees. The idea was we all shoot with our eyes, we use our eyes and our ears, and that's what we use predominantly when we pick a weapon up. So we realized, if we can capture what the human eye sees, then we've nailed it. So we studied the human eye, put that into a 4K camera, made a mounting system in a ballistic pair of shooting glasses, right eye dominant, left eye dominant, and then we made them all cell phone based connectivity. So you download the AimCam app, these live stream, you can play all your shots back live, see everything you're seeing, analyze all your shooting, share it with your buddies. That was the whole point, was to make something where you can actually see through the optics of your gun for the first time. So we made AimCam. The idea is there, you can instantly play your shots back, analyze your shooting, but with the AimCam Pro 4K, it records at 120 frames per second. And as we know, when we're shooting, things are so quick. Your buddies are trying to tell you where you've shot, that kind of thing, giving you advice. But now with AimCam, you can hit replay and play back in slow motion all your shots exactly as they've just happened.
And it's not only a camera. This is also a built-in microphone system.
Yeah, full stereo microphone system built into there. We've got heads up. We've got on the app, you can bring up on your phone and optics, and you can see your red dot. You can analyze all your shots that way. We've got ballistic interchangeable lenses. We can change these things into full goggle, tactical goggles. So we're trying to cover a lot of the market with one product, but it's all modular. You build it up for your particular sport.
All right, and we know that, like, with safety glasses, when we have shooting competitions and stuff like that, the range safety officers are all going to insist that your glasses meet a certain standard, for impact resistance and stuff like that. And I think you guys have that covered.
Yeah, we've got that boxed off with Z87 Plus, ballistic lenses, all interchangeable. We do 7 pairs of lenses. Every AimCam, we make sure that everyone's got 3 pairs of lenses, which will give them the range that they need, with the yellow, the clear, and the black. But then we do a purple. We do different tints to enhance your eyesight as well. So you're not only just getting a camera system, you're also getting something that you can use to enhance your eyesight.
So for you guys that are running a red dot or something like that, if you're running a red dot, you don't want to run a red lens because you're gonna bleed one out from another.
Yeah.
So having the interchangeability, you always have the ability to pick up whatever optic system you're running with.
Yeah.
Now, yesterday I didn't get a chance to do it because you guys left before I had a chance. Yesterday I walked around. I grabbed a pair of your glasses, and for about 10-15 minutes, I walked around the show floor just having a conversation all by myself.
Yeah.
And I ran into the booths of a bunch of different people, and and I got a chance to look at a little bit of it. But I tried to get it. I wanted to do a little picture in picture today, but you guys have gone before I could download it.
Yeah. Sorry about that. We've been absolutely stacked out with it as well.
Yeah.
So,
But for what you guys are charging for this is ridiculous.
well, it was my decision to make the product. We put a lot of investment into it, but what we wanted to do was get a price point where the average shooter can afford this thing. We don't want it to be a premium, high-end, just a facility training product. We wanted everybody out there. But also the main thing was they can record their shooting. They can share their footage. AIMCAM's not just recording down the gun, it's all the action that you're having with your buddies, everything that's going on around you, picking all that audio up. And then, but when you pick up the gun, it sees through your sights, sees all that. So we wanted it to be a price range that is affordable for everybody. Yeah.
And now I know like GoPro and stuff like that, they've got image stabilization, impact resistance. They've got all of these different things to try and give you the best, cleanest, crisp, video you can say. I don't know how much of that technology is in these, but I did get a chance to watch. His whole booth is surrounded by TV screens, and every one of them has got a different video playing of people shooting, and it's like being, there was a movie called Hardcore Henry a couple of years ago that was all filmed from a shooter's perspective.
Yeah.
And this is like looking through that.
Yeah.
You watch the video of these people, of these guys shooting, and you're like, holy crap, you feel like you're in the movie.
It's what we do.
The footage is almost like you're playing a video game. That's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah.
Call of Duty to me.
That's the idea, and the kids are seeing that, and they're seeing the Call of Duty, but they don't realize, that's what we really do,
Right.
Now they're seeing the video, and and it also connects them.
And this goes so far beyond the shooter's world too. I mean, somebody like me that runs around in an environment like this, recording interviews with people, it works for that. If you're a skater, a skier, anything, any outdoor sport, indoor sport that you want to go with, you guys have the ability to record it and put it for posterity. You have record of what your activities
Well, that's
were.
the idea. It's full hands-free, it's POV, one-touch record. You just go. You don't have to worry about bulky cameras, mounts, and anything like that. Plus, you've got your eye protection if you want it. You don't have to have it in there. But what I would say, we also do a prescription mount as well. So that's been a big thing for us. There's a certain age of the population who shoot that, wear the prescriptions. So we all have our prescriptions made by Hunters HD Gold in the US. The mounts are made in the US, all the parts, and then they send them straight out to you. And then everybody who's got a prescription can also wear the AIM cap. That's a big thing.
I tell you,
Phenomenal.
these are great, and it is so lightweight. I mean, my Ray-Bans weigh more than this.
Yeah.
And I was sitting here looking. You look at where the lens is on this that they have, and you would think that this would be something that might obscure your vision in some way, and it doesn't. Your brain, you're inside your optical point of view. You should be able to see your nose, and you do see your nose, but your brain blocks it out.
Yeah.
Your brain has built a filter inside of it so that your nose doesn't get picked up. You immediately it vanishes from your line of sight. And where you've managed to put the camera is within that line of sight that your brain is already obscuring the view, so you don't even know that you're wearing it.
Well, it only took us 5 years to work that out. But yeah, and that's the mounting system now, our patented system, and we've got now down to a 4mm, up to an 8mm square camera, but a full 4K at 30 frames per second, and we can do 120 frames per second with that 8mm camera, and that's been the breakthrough. It's getting that.
And you go left or right eye dominant.
Yeah, and left or right eye dominant, you swap the camera over, and you can then you set that up using your own cell phone, or you would stream to an iPad, Android device, or anything. You just put that on the side in the comfort of your own home, or even in the blind. You take your weapon, put the phone next to that, and you can live stream to the device, and then you can line up the camera exactly as you want it. When you get it, it's all aluminum-based system, locks in place, and that's how. And you're good to go for your particular weapon for that day, or locks in the middle. We do polarized lenses. If you can use these things for fishing one day, ballistic lens the next day on the range. So the idea is, we cover it in a lot of
and price is right in line with GoPro.
Yeah, the idea. Yeah, and yeah, well, that's what the idea is, and it's yeah, but it's unique. We built the app, and everything is built from the ground up. This thing's took us 5 years to develop. We're actually on Gen 4 now, but the idea is, if you can keep getting those frames per second better and that image quality better. Now we're on a 24 megapixel camera. You're going to be able to really analyze your shots and see what you're doing in slow motion, and that would help people improve and train better and enhance their shooting.
Now, when the video comes into your computer or into your phone, what type of video format is it coming in?
Yeah, so you can select it MOV or MP4.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
you've got
Awesome.
the options.
All right. Now, the battery life on one of these, how long are we looking at?
So, yeah, this is the battery in the aim cam goes from 1.5 to 2 hours, but it's a cell phone based battery. Instead of fiddling around like you do with the GoPro and switching these things out, we've just designed like the tactical mount, the tactical cable. So the aim cam will run off any cell phone power pack, any cell phone charger, even your in-car charger. You can plug that in. You can then just plug this straight into the aim cam, and it'll run as long as your power pack is, just like your phone. We don't want to sell you a lot of batteries like GoPro does and people like that. We want you to run for a long time if you're in a hide or a blind or you're hunting or an officer out for the day. These things have got to run for that amount of time. So you just plug them in, and that's it. You're good to go.
I mean, this would also be great for like a driver's eye perspective, for drag racing, slalom courses, something like that. You can see this being used for equestrians, to be able to analyze their runs as they're running with horses. The applications, how many times you say, I wish I could see what I look like when, or what I could do. There's so many ways you can't analyze it because every camera system that's out there is body mount, hat mount, or something like that. And it never gives you the perspective. We watch police videos and you see, a police shooting video. As soon as a police officer pulls the guns up and they have the chest mount on the camera, their arms come up, they're obscuring the lens. So a lot of that video sometimes is either inadmissible or doesn't show you the perspective. It gives you a different view of it. And a lot of times, somebody will either win or lose the case, but dependent upon that. You guys
it doesn't show you what the officer actually sees.
Right. It doesn't show you the point of view of the officer.
So just coming on to that, every aim cam is unique live stream password protected. You change the password in it, you change your name in the aim cam, and it locks it down to you. So if anyone gets this thing, you can't use the evidence. And we can turn time and date stamp on in there as well, and it stamps it on the video. It encrypts it for you. So there's a little bit more tech into these glasses, but we could go all day.
Oh
long.
yeah, well, like you said, I don't dispel the tech, but we try to keep things boiled down to a layman's perspective here.
But
where someone's gonna go, dude, I want that.
Yeah, because a lot goes on, and in a maybe in a live fire situation, but when you're talking to people, there's a lot of things going on, and you've got a camera here, but you're looking around, and this thing, the idea is you're capturing what you're seeing.
Right. I mean, the only drawback that you have with this is that the camera doesn't follow like pilots' cameras in like a helicopter or a fighter pilot. And somehow I think I just might have hit on something with you.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah, but I think we might be looking at something going on in the future where you're actually able to maybe track the eye movement itself, because this is going to catch what you're looking at in your 180 degree. You're looking straight at, that's what you're going to see. To be able to look at your 90s while your head's not moving.
Yeah.
That's
it's something we're looking at. We've got an eye tracking system that we're working with. So, but that's that.
And if not, give
all the R&D secrets away.
If not, at least I just gave you the idea to improve on it. So.
That's why I said it.
Yeah, I know. As soon as I mentioned eyeball, I saw the light bulb.
It's always out.
Yeah, going, oh, he knows already. He knows we're gonna do that. Yeah, it's great to know that the technology advancement is going to be
moving
there.
forward. In the last 3 years, we're on Gen 4 already. And we always give everybody who buys an aim cam, we give them $100 trade up. We keep all the accessories generic, backwards compatible, forwards compatible. We don't want people having to swap out their prescriptions and things like that, all the lenses. So we make sure when we change the camera and the firmware and things on the latest models, all their accessories and everything they bought will still fit.
Now, the one important thing I'm going to ask you, how good is the anti-fogging?
So yeah, we've got anti-fog coating on the lenses, but you know that's where we do a full tactical seal mount as well, which is quite key, and that has aerated vents in there that we've developed. But we also we're looking with partnering with one of the companies to do a spray or another coating that works on there.
Because that's been my nemesis with shooting glasses my whole life, is that I constantly have to wear my hat backwards when I'm at the range just to get them to ventilate properly. Because I run hot all the time and I sweat profusely, and every time I wear a pair of glasses, I'm fogging up, and within 30 seconds at the range, I can't see what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
So trying to find a good pair of glasses that's ventilated properly, doesn't fog up, and if that does it, and then also give me shooter
It's
type
key to the
perspective.
ventilation on the lenses. That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah.
And the operation of this thing, if you could explain how you actually engage it.
Yeah, so we made it dead straightforward. We just wanted to have one touch record, so you can literally just switch on, go into standby. What I would like to mention as well, we put in is vibration sensors in the glasses as well. So like your phone buzzers, the glasses vibrate and tell you what function they're doing. And that's quite key, because if you're in a situation where you're maybe hunting and things are quiet, or you're talking to somebody and you may be a suspect or something like that, and you want to take some evidence, you don't want them to know what you're doing and pressing buttons and beeping and things like that. So the vibration comes through to give you feedback. So one click, they vibrate on your head twice and they're recording, and it's on, off like that. If you want to take a 24 megapixel still image, you just click the back button on the back of the glasses, and that takes an image of everything you're looking at. Press
And that's
hold.
while it's recording.
That's while it's recording, and and then if you press and hold the photo button, that then goes into live stream mode. You get 3 buzzers, so and then you're live streaming to anybody who's got the AimCam app downloaded on their phone.
Oh, that is
and knows your password.
That is wicked. I could see that being used great for like team shooting sports and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
we've already got a few out there in key. We've got the 101st Airborne Division. We've got the SAS have already had samples of them, and they're looking at, they're using them in the training facilities already, which is nice.
Nice.
So and that's it. But that kind of price margin, it wants to be for everybody.
All right, now let's talk about the price point.
Yeah.
Where are we for your basic kit, and what do we get into?
So the basic kit of the Pro 4K with 3 pairs of lenses, we'd give you the 32 gigabyte SD card in the glasses, and so we make sure that that's tested and everything's good to go straight out of our office in Clearwater. Is going to be it's not even online yet. It's going to be going out there at 34999. And then we have that Pro 2i model, which is an 8 megapixel camera, and we're doing that at 22499. And that's out there. That's to give you that's the baseline model, which got still the same accessories, all the same mounting system, but the camera in that is 8 megapixel, whereas the 4K one is 24 megapixel.
Go to Sunglass Hut and pay more money for a pair. You can go to art store and pay more money for a pair of sunglasses.
Yeah. Good. So we've just upgraded the app now, so we can do the Meta shorts and things like that. So the app, you can select the 1 minute, just like the Meta, the Facebook glasses, the Ray-Bans. We've got the same setting in our glasses as well. So we've got all that, and we've got a heads-up vertical display as well, so you can manage your recoil and all that kind of thing. So yeah, you need to check that out. I'll show you later.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff, I gotta say, awesome technology, amazing price. I can't wait to watch the full video that I did back yesterday. I hope to be able to review this at some point in time, so I can play the video in a picture-in-picture and say, yeah, this is what I recorded at NRA. But fantastic. I mean, really slick stuff right here, and I just can't wait to get my hands on a set of these things for myself and try these out. These things are awesome.
Yeah, well, thanks, Frank.
Hey, now, everybody says I have a funny accent, but I notice yours is a little uncommon for this part of the world. So
maybe a little bit. Yeah, so I'm from Sheffield, England. This idea was actually thought up in a field in Derbyshire. I'm a gamekeeper. Shot since I was 8 years old. I'm one of the very few people in England who's still got an open firearms license. So I'm quite fortunate. I've got 27 firearms, and I'm allowed to carry on my range and things like that. And I'm outside. So that takes 15 years to get.
Well, I was one of the very few people back in 1993 that had a New York City carry permit that wasn't a cop or a jeweler.
Yeah.
So that was like printing gold bars back in the day.
Why was that, may I ask?
Well, it was way back. You had to know somebody.
Yeah.
But so now you live over in England.
Yeah, I live over in England. We regularly come over the pond. We've got our office in Clearwater, Florida. We flew over there. We set that up and got.
Dalen just gave a thumbs up for Clearwater.
Well, I'm driving back down there, and this is my 5th NRA show, and we drove all the way, all the way across the states. But we make a road trip out of it as well because we love the states, we love the people, and we just enjoy and soak it all up while we're here.
Yeah, I love Clearwater.
Well,
When I lived in Florida, I spent almost every weekend down at the beach.
It's a little bit warmer than back in the UK.
Just a little bit. A little sunnier.
About, yeah.
A little sunnier as well.
Yeah. So that's a nice thing as well. So yeah.
And less clothing.
Yeah, a lot less clothing.
That's always a benefit for some of us.
But we'll travel anywhere. So
But I tell you, I walked by the booth over there, and it looks like you guys all walked off the ranch in Yellowstone. I mean, these a bunch of guys look like cowboys until they open up their mouth.
Yeah, that's it with the guys. They really soak up the American culture. So as soon as we were in Dallas last year, that's it. All the hats out. They've got the cowboy boots on and everything. Yeah, until hey, hello, how you doing? We're English, don't you know?
Now, but I'm so glad that you guys have come over and brought these ideas. And like I said, you're manufacturing here in the States. And you said that's part of the problem, though, for you guys, is that when you want to bring it back over to your own home country,
so if I want to, we're going to get into tariffs. So I've been doing this 5 years, and I see why Trump's doing why he's doing what he's doing. Because if I try and ship from the States into Europe, and which we do, we take online with orders all around the world now. That we're getting hammered. We need, on the imports going into those countries. If I've been shipping from the Europe or UK back into States, it's been free for about the last 4 or 5 years. So you guys haven't been doing it reciprocally, But that's the thing. Yeah, we are getting a lot of charges if we try to go stateside to the UK or stateside to mainly Europe and Europe, I'd say.
But if you're producing here in the U.S., where
it's a big problem.
A huge, I imagine this is probably a huge chunk of what your market plan is, because this is where most of the guns are.
Yeah.
So
we are now looking at dealers in Europe to stock them, and then to distribute for orders and things like that, to drop ship and things like that, just to try and not have to pay the tariffs, because until it all gets settled down. But we would do that, and out of the UK we're okay. But yeah, we're looking to do that because it's just too expensive.
Well, we appreciate you bringing this technology over here and doing it the way you have. Just your price point alone, the quality of what you're doing, and the not see made in China on everything is phenomenal.
Try his best.
Yeah.
That's it.
And like I said, you guys are true practitioners. This wasn't just, you got an idea to sell to gun owners. You walk the walk.
Yeah.
And this makes all the difference.
7,000 miles to get here, and we've done it now 5 times. So we really enjoy being here. That's the key.
You guys are always welcome here. You're always welcome on the show. Jamie, thank you so much.
Frank.
Tell everybody where they can get themselves a set of the AIM
just go to aimcam.com. And everything's there. The 4K is not live yet because we launched it at the NRA. So in about 2 weeks' time, you'll be able to get this all on our website, but we've still got the other models on there. But just check out all the specs and everything that's on the website, and then the 4K once this show's finished and everybody's had their launch price and experienced the 4K. Just go to aimcam.com and you'll get it there.
See the size of that horse?
That's nice.
Some 6 foot tall Irish wolfhound just walked by the booth. All right, so guys, Marshall, is there any question you want to ask him? So you've been so kind enough to keep, giving me full screen so we could display the product. You have any questions about this stuff?
No, I see some huge applications more and more. Not just in shooting, but I see it in a lot of technical applications. There's lots of times when I'm with tech support, trying to trouble something, where it'd be great if tech support see what I'm seeing.
Yeah. So we're looking at demoing next year or later on in a few months' time a live stream where we can live stream and hook up to different screens. Because what was a big thing with me is back in the UK, the shooting is under attack all the time. There's only 150,000 gun owners, so and it's shrinking. So was to be able to see what you see on live stream your shooting as well, maybe even to be able to televise what the shooter sees is key. And we think we're getting there. We've got some live stream transmission apparatus that links to the AIM cam, that then anybody in the world can log in and see exactly what you see while you're wearing your glasses.
Right. I mean, being able to see what somebody else is seeing when you're trying to assist them, is huge. Okay,
Just
not just with shooting,
Yeah,
but like I said, with technical aspects, when you're trying to help somebody work on a device, being able to see what they're seeing would be extremely helpful.
Yeah.
There's also applications in the surgical field.
Yeah.
You know, there's applications for education. There's an application for anything. It's the fact that you've got it Wi-Fi enabled and you can, broadcast it live is huge. That is one of the biggest components of that. That gives it so much more flexibility. Playback is always you're looking at what happened. This you're looking at what's happening
live.
That's a huge benefit to that. There's so many applications.
Yeah, well, that's it. We've just got to get out there. It's been a hard road, and this is part of it. Coming to these shows, meeting people like you, and just speaking to people. We've got a great team, 6 people that travel the states, just talking to people. But it's a big nut to crack.
See, he just said how hard it is to talk to me. I should be insulted, but I'm not. No, listen, Jamie, thank you so much. Rich, any questions or comments on this stuff?
No, the comments. This product looks great. The price point is excellent.
Thank you.
Many applications for it, so
Yeah.
it'll do well.
We'll just get it out there now. NRAAM.com.
Cool. And we're going to get the link for this up on, hopefully get an article together for the O1F.us. Put the links up on there so you can get it to run. We're going to put, when this goes into rebroadcast, we'll get the links up in the comment section so everybody can go over there and find it and, hopefully try and push this. Because I think when people really start to see this, people are going to say, all right, I can, I can save off a couple of Starbucks this week and maybe put it towards a pair of glasses. That stuff's cooler than shit, right? That's awesome stuff.
Awesome.
All right, so we're going to take a break. We got to wait for our next guest to come over. But Jamie, once again, this is NRAAM Pro 4K and going on the website within 2 weeks. So make sure you keep up with them. Come buy something. Nice stuff.
Thank you.
And Frank's disappeared again. I'm sure he's off running to get another guest to be on. Those glasses can be a huge help in a lot of things that I can see. Just thinking off the top of my head, not only for shooting and correcting that stuff on your own or with an instructor. It can be done with, like I said, in tech support with technicians out in the field. When you're offering them assistance, being able to see what they are seeing in real time can be a huge benefit. In medical situations with EMS and firefighting. All this type of stuff, being able to see what somebody else sees can be huge. But also having the ability to have that record when you are doing stuff. I can see this being used in a lot of different training applications. The AimCam is a huge innovation, and I can see it being used for a lot of different things, from training to presentations to, like I said, being able for assistance, all kinds of things. The list just goes on and on of what you would be able to do with this type of system. I could see it being widely used in military applications, law enforcement applications, actually in a lot of areas of public safety. I could even see them being used if they get them to a point where they are more fashionable. I could be seen being used in customer service situations, where you can record what's going on, the customer interactions and stuff, so that that can be used for training purposes to teach people how to better respond to customer requests and stuff. There's, like I said, the applications for this type of technology are endless. So like I said, I'm not real sure where Frank headed off to. My guess is he's trying to find somebody else to be interviewed, and I'm sure he will be back here very shortly. But until then, you got to put up with me and hear me drone on and on. So, like I said, guys, what are your questions? What do you want to hear? What do you want to know? Right now, we've got some time. We can talk about a lot of different things. We can talk about what's going on with the NRA. Do you think they are working to be more transparent? Or are we going to see more of the same? I do think there is a big change getting ready to happen in the NRA. The signs tend to point that way with the ousting of LaPierre from the NRA. I think we are going to see some huge changes. The NRA got a black eye with what was going on, and now they are trying to recover it from that. This is the first show since that's happened, and signs seem to point that they are looking to improve things and make things better for not just members, but the whole Second Amendment community. And that would be huge. The NRA is the largest gun rights organization in the United States, and for them to have done what they did is it wasn't good. It wasn't good for the industry. It wasn't good for the Second Amendment as a whole, and I think they are trying to recover from that. Gave the industry a pretty bad black eye, and we need to support them if they are doing right, but we need to also call them out when they're doing wrong. And that's what happened. But hopefully, with the new board of directors and the new leadership in the NRA, we are going to see some changes and we are going to see some improvements. And hopefully, we will start seeing them do what their mission is, and that is to protect the gun rights of Americans. I'm hopeful. The signs tend to be pointing that direction. So we are just going to have to wait and see what ends up happening. Again, I'm not sure where Frank ran off to. I think he probably went to find somebody else to interview, and I'm sure he will be right back here very shortly. Let's take a little bit and talk about what events like the National Rifle Association annual meeting or the Gun Owners of America's conference or any of these other SHOT Show and other industry conventions do for the industry. Okay, these aren't just events for gun enthusiasts to get together. These are events where we need to come together as a community to chart a path forward to protect our rights. These are where we need to be involved, where we need to get in touch with others, like-minded individuals, and determine how we are going to move forward, not just in the Second Amendment, but as gun owners, how we are going to improve safety, how we are going to improve our skills, how we're going to improve gun ownership as a whole. This is a very, very big part of our country, and it is a big part of being American. Okay, guns are here. Okay, the Second Amendment protects that right. And we need to work on being responsible with that right. Okay, every right gives you certain responsibilities when you exercise those rights, whether it be from free speech, the right of free speech, to gun ownership, to even when you are exercising your right under the Fourth and Fifth Amendments. You do have certain responsibilities for those rights, and you need to exercise those rights in a responsible manner. Um, that is one of the problems that we have with the Second Amendment. We do have a lot of people that do not exercise the Second Amendment in a responsible manner. Okay, the majority of us do. The majority of the Second Amendment community are very responsible gun owners, but we have that small fraction that are not, and those are the ones that we need to focus on and getting them the education, letting them learn about what it means to be a responsible gun owner. Because when you have a responsible gun owner, accidents happen a lot less. When you treat a tool, regardless of what that tool is, in a responsible manner, you're less likely to have an accident. And that's what we need to focus on when we are talking to people about this. This isn't about just being able to own guns. It's about the responsibility of when you do own a gun. So that is what they're trying to take away from us. And they're trying to portray us as not being responsible with these tools that are protected under the Second Amendment. And the truth is, we are responsible. If we look at the statistics, quote unquote gun violence, which is regular violence, but violence that is committed with a gun is not a huge problem in our society when we compare it against all other types of violent activities. But if you listen to mainstream media, you listen to certain proponents of the gun control community, you would swear it is a pandemic problem. That it is a problem that is so severe that everywhere people are just dying, dropping dead from being shot. And that's not the case. Okay. But that's not what we're being told. We're being told the opposite. And the only way that we can do this is to come together as a community and just to stand up against this egregious misinformation and false information that's being put out there and portrayed. Okay, folks, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what your viewpoints are, what your ideas are, and what we can do to move this together in a positive manner. The National Rifle Association looks like they are trying to do that. There are many other organizations that are also doing the same. So hopefully Frank's going to be back here soon. So we can have somebody else to interview and talk with. He kind of left kind of abruptly, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on or when he will be back. All right, folks. I'm waiting to hear from you guys. While you're at it, look us up. Check us out at l1f.us. Think about becoming a member. Okay, for $15 a year, you can help support us in what our mission is, and that is the restoration of the Constitution. Okay, and one of those rights under the Constitution is the right protected under the Second Amendment. Okay, the right of the citizens of the United States to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It's really simple. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I do not know why people think that is such a hard phrase to understand and comprehend, but it is laid out in black and white right in our Constitution. Now, there have been some court cases and so forth that say that the Second Amendment is not an all encompassing right, and that is not true. Okay. The courts have gotten that wrong. The right of the people to keep and bear arms sounds pretty all encompassing to me. Okay. Government has only the authority that we have given it. Okay, excuse me, folks. I need to take care of something here real quick. I will be right back. Sorry about that, folks. I am back. So what do you want to talk about? What do you want to know more about? Okay, I was talking about the Second Amendment. I was talking about the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That is a pretty simple statement to understand. Okay, it's right in our Constitution. For us to try to debate that and to try to say that it means something other than what it actually says is ludicrous. Okay, it means that we are literally trying to water down what the Constitution is, and that is not what we are supposed to be doing. Excuse me. Sorry about that, folks. I am back again, and we are waiting for Frank to return from wherever he ran off to. Hopefully, he's coming up with some another guest for us to interview, and some other innovative products that are being displayed at the NRA annual meeting for 2025. He's brought to you guys quite a few things, some really interesting things, and some things that are really kind of groundbreaking, to say the least. Look, when we look at Occupy, the tagging system that allows you to know where assets are and if assets have moved. That is huge. And some of the innovations that they're coming up with there along those lines, they are going to be life changing in some instances. There's other stuff. The guests we had on here from Boss Lock yesterday, that's huge. Another huge innovation that, as it goes along with this development process, it's going to be huge in the realm of firearm safety. There's all kinds of things that we are seeing that are coming out that are only going to improve what's going on in the Second Amendment community. But folks, we need people like you to also be involved. Okay, give these companies ideas on what you want to see. Go to AIMCAM, help them out. Okay, to figure out different applications for their classes. Like I said, the possibilities are endless. Occupies is another one where you can reach out to them, talk to them, and learn about what, or actually give them ideas on where they could take their stuff. Excuse me for just a second. Okay, sorry about that, folks. My phone was just going crazy. I was trying to figure out if there was something huge going on or what, but it wasn't anything important. So it was just my phone going nuts. um, well, Frank, I'm not sure where you got off to, but hopefully you'll be back here really soon. We need to um, keep things going. So I'm here just kind of rattling on, talking, hoping that some of our guests will pipe in and say something, ask a question. I'm here. Be interested in talking to you about just pretty much anything. We could talk about what we've seen at the NRA show this year. We could talk about what's going on in the industry. We could talk about the Constitution, what's going on in legislation, and many other things. Okay. Like how, even with the Bruin decision, how states are ignoring the opinion that was handed down in that decision, like Colorado and their banning of all semi-automatic weapons. Okay, I do not think that's going to stand. But it all depends on what the courts say. Okay, but at the end of the day, you and I and the American people are the arbiters of what the Constitution says. We are the ones that hold government accountable. And we need to be the ones that are saying, hey, no, you can't do that. Okay. And it needs to be more than just a handful of us. It needs to be each and every one of us that are saying, no, that's not right. The Constitution says you can't do that. So no, stop. But not enough of us do that. Instead, we'd rather just go along and not worry about it, ignore what's going on. And each year, each session of Congress, we lose more and more of our rights. We get these nameless, faceless bureaucracies that are acting completely unimpeded. And it's no wonder we're in the shape that we're in now. We've got a government that spends money like out of control. We've got more laws getting passed that shouldn't even be considered, that are well outside of the scope of our government authority. And we just accept it. We just go on and on and on. Well, when are we going to say enough's enough? When are we going to start holding our government accountable? I mean, just look at some of the stuff that Doge's uncovered in the brief time that it's been doing what it's doing. Are we going to continue to accept this? Are we going to continue to say, well, it's government, they can do what they want? Or are we going to say, hey, we give you your authority and you must limit yourself to the authority that we have given you, and that is defined in the Constitution? Or are we going to continue to do as most people do and just go, oh well, it doesn't affect me, so why do I need to worry about it? Folks, even things that you don't think affect you, they do. Okay. A law that's being considered right now will impact your life in some way, regardless of whether you see it or not. And if it doesn't impact you now, it will impact you in the future, because it will be a stepping stone for government to take away more from you. And at some point, you're going to look back and you're going to say, well, I should have, or I wish I would have. Well, the time to do that is now, before it becomes a problem. Actually, it's already a problem. But until you decide that you're going to do something, it's going to continue. Okay, folks, we are coming to you live. I'm actually at home in New York at my home studio. Frank is actually in Georgia at the National Rifle Association annual meeting. We're waiting for him to return. Hopefully he's coming back with some other guests, or maybe we are done. I don't know. Frank just kind of scooted out and left and didn't say anything when he left, just muted his mic, shut off his camera, and took off. So I'm not sure what's really going on. I know we've only got about 5 more minutes before the show's going to be shutting down. So hopefully Frank comes back and says goodbye and kind of let you know what's going on. Not quite sure. So I'm waiting to hear from him and see if there's anything else that's going to happen. If we're going to do another quick interview or if he's going to wrap things up. Just waiting to see. So hold on a second. Let's see. Okay. I'm trying to message Frank now to try to find out what happened to him. See if we have anything else that's going to be coming out of Georgia and the NRA annual meeting. Okay. So with that, we looks like we got about 4 minutes for the annual meeting will be coming to a close. I believe that they were ending at 12:30 today, but I'm not quite sure on that. I'm waiting to see and find out. Hold on a second. No answers there. So still trying to figure out what's going on at the annual meeting and why Frank just took off. So just waiting to see. As you can see, it's just me. Unfortunately, I'm not down in Georgia. I am up here at my home in New York. We're waiting to see if Frank has anything more for us before we wrap this up. Give him another couple minutes and then we'll go ahead and wrap things up and end the stream. Folks, now's the time. Become part of the conversation. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, let me know what they are. Right now, things are kind of slow. Trying to figure out things to talk to you about. What would you guys want to hear? What you guys want to know? What do you want to know about the Liberty First Foundation? Where do you want to go? But guys, like, share, subscribe. Get notified when we're doing stuff like this in the future. We are live every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time with our weekly roundtable where we discuss what's going on with our government and the constitutional implications of what's happening. Okay, and whether or not our government is actually following the Constitution as they are supposed to be doing. We try to hold government accountable, but we can only do so much. That's where people like you, our audience, help. Okay, that's where we need your help. We need your help to help with our restoration of the Constitution. And we can only do so much. Okay, I mean, it's Frank and I, and Michael, and you see Dal and Jan on the show. But we're only 5 voices in a country that is 330 million. Okay, 5 voices aren't very loud. Okay, you need help. We can only do so much. Okay, folks. I don't think Frank's going to be back, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here. Make sure to visit us at l1f.us. Like and subscribe to us. Turn on notifications so that you can know when we are coming at you live next time. Okay, with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up, and we will see you Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you, everybody.